Hey traders, John Fortune here with this week's Weekly Forex Forecast for the 25th of May to the 29th of May 2020. As always, what we're going to do is we're going to start off by looking at the US dollar index and crude oil before running through a number of markets, looking at the key levels of support and resistance in the process. I'm also going to be highlighting some of the targets that we're going to be looking for in this coming week and also for the weeks ahead. So I hope you're having a nice weekend. Let's jump over to the charts and see where the money is this week. As always, we're going to start off by looking at the US dollar index. Now, we're looking at this on a daily chart. We will be looking at the other charts on a 4-hour chart, but we are looking at this on the daily chart so we can fit all of this data in here. What's important to note is, just as we've highlighted in previous videos, we are in a corrective phase. This is actually forming a wedge pattern, a type of pennant pattern in the dollar index, and this is after this big rally to the upside. We've started to coil, and the longer this goes on, the more price gets squeezed and squeezed and squeezed, and the less momentum you will find coming into this market as this pattern develops. Now, this causes us a little bit of a problem because when the market is tightening and coiling like this, it brings a lack of volatility in across the market. So very similar to what we've discussed in previous videos, you still want to be looking at a mindset of capital preservation for the time being until this breaks to the upside or the downside. And that basically means not going too hard on your trading because you're going to be otherwise increasing your risk during a period of prolonged contraction in this market. So very simply put, going into this week, when we look at this chart, we can see, yes, we are technically slightly structured to the downside since we broke this low last week. However, we are once again going to go into next week with a neutral bias on the US dollar index. And what this means is it just means we're going to be trading the individual markets on their own merit without a strong bias in the dollar one way or the other. So the next market we're going to look at is crude oil. Now, last week we were looking for further advances to the upside in this market, and we did come and take out both targets set from last week. First of all, at the 24.95, which was right here. And you can see we took out this target and we paused before rallying, taking out the second target at the 27.28, which was right here. And we sold off from the second target last week, and this is where we start the week going into this week. So very simply put, going into this week, we are once again focused on bullish setups in this market. What we would like to see, as we're coming quite close to the target of the 28.93, is a pullback in this area. Any pullback in this area is going to be viewed as an opportunity to start to look for bullish setups. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area resistance, the upside and the target set, at the 28.93. So next market we're going to look at is euro dollar. Now, last week we were sitting at the key area of broken resistance from the past, turning support at the 1.0811, which was right here. And we highlighted this as an area to start to look for a bounce to the upside in this market. We did have a nice rally to the upside in this market last week. We did not take out the target set from last week. We came close, but we started to pull back. So any pullback in this area now, like we're getting already, any pullback here is going to be viewed next week as simply an opportunity to look for bullish setups. And if we get the right kind of bullish setups in this area, if we start to correct and we start to reverse back to the upside and break out in this area, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area resistance, the upside and the target set at the 1.1052. So the next market we're going to look at is pound dollar. Now, last week we were looking for a pullback towards 1.23480, and we stated any pullback in this area was simply going to be viewed as an opportunity to look for bearish setups. We did get a nice breakout to the downside, and we are starting to make our way to the downside going into this week. What we'd like to see is, for anybody not already short from pound dollar last week, any pullback once again in this area is just simply going to be viewed once again as an opportunity to look for bearish setups. And if we get the right kind of bearish setups in this market, we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area support to the downside and the target highlighted from last week at the 1.1974. So next market we're going to look at is US dollar Japanese yen. Now, last week we were looking for further advances to the upside, and this was actually one of the better markets to trade last week. To the upside was the US dollar Japanese yen. We came very close to the target set at the 108.20, and we started to correct. Very simply put, going into this week, any pullback for anybody not involved from last week, any pullback in this area like we're getting now, is simply going to be viewed as another opportunity to look for bullish setups. And if we get the right kind of bullish setups in this area, specifically if we start to correct and we start to break out, any bullish setup in this area is going to be treated next week as an opportunity to go long. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area resistance, the upside and the target set at the 108.20. So next market we're going to look at is Aussie dollar. Now last week we started the week right here and we were sitting at a key area of support at 0.64150, which we highlighted last week, which was right here. And we highlighted this as an area to look for a rally to the upside in Aussie dollar. We did rally almost off the open and we came and took out the target set from last week at the 0.6582, which was right here. And as you can see, so in terms of the trade levels, we had a really nice move from one level to the next, and we started to sell off as profit taking came in. So very simply put, going into this week, we are still trending to the upside. We are still, as we have done in previous weeks, planning to trade this to the upside if the opportunity presents itself. Any pullback in this area, like we're getting now, towards the key area of broken resistance from the past, looking to turn support at 0.64752, is simply going to be viewed as an opportunity to once again look for bullish setups in this market. And if we get the right kind of bullish setups in this market, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key of resistance to the upside and the target set, the 0.6650. So the next market we're going to look at is New Zealand dollar. Now last week this was actually structured to the downside and we had a reversal week. We reversed almost on the open and we came and took out the previous high here. So very simply put, going into this week we are focused primarily on bullish setups in this market because of that near-term reversal last week. Any pullback in this area like we're getting now, down towards the next key area of broken resistance from the past, in this case looking to turn support at 0.5957. Any pullback in this area is going to be viewed as an opportunity to look for bullish setups, and you can see we'd be treating this as it stands as a potential inverse head and shoulders. And if we get the right kind of bullish setups in this market, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area resistance to the upside and the target set at the 0.6194. So the next market we're going to look at is US dollar Swiss franc. Now last week we highlighted the 0.97470, which was right here, as an area to start to look for a sell-off to the downside. We did test this area before having a nice sell-off in US dollar Swiss franc. We did not come all the way down to the target set at 0.9589. We started to pull back, so this is giving a second opportunity for anybody not involved from last week who may have missed any trades in this to start once again to look for breakouts to the downside. And as we're getting this pullback, any break and any bearish reversal pattern in this area is going to be treated as an opportunity to start to look for short positions, and we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside highlighted last week at 0.9589. So the next market we're going to look at is US dollar CAD. Now last week we were looking for a sell-off to the downside and we started the week right here, and we were sitting at key area of resistance we highlighted last week at 1.40990, which was right here. And as you can see, we did get a really nice sell-off from this key area of resistance. We came very close within a few points here of the 1.3850, which was the target we highlighted last week. So very simply put, going into this week, we are once again focused on bearish setups in this market. Any continued correction into this area is going to be viewed simply as an opportunity to start to look for bearish setups. And if we get the right kind of bearish setups in this market, we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside and the target set at the 1.3850. And last but not least, we have gold. Now last week we were highlighting the fact that we are overall bullish on gold, and what we want to see was a pullback down towards the 1708.30. So any pullback in this area is going to be viewed as an opportunity to start to look for bullish setups. We did get a nice pullback, and we pretty much only spent last week retracing. Actually, there was no rally. So very simply put, going into this week, we are looking for this break now to the upside in gold towards the 1797.40. Any reversal in this area to the upside, any break to the upside in gold is going to be viewed simply as an opportunity to start to look for bullish setups. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 1797.40. So that is it from me for this week, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know by liking, sharing and subscribing. A big thank you to everybody who does that on a regular basis, and a big thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel so far, and also a big thank you to everybody who comments on the channel on a regular basis as well. I want to wish you all a fantastic weekend, and I want to wish you all the best in your trading next week. The only thing left to say is take care, and don't forget to trade safely.